Welcome to Here Comes the Boom, a KSR and KSR Plus recruiting podcast talking all things Kentucky basketball recruiting. We've got a great guest for you today. We're talking about Kentucky basketball with Ryan Hammer from Blueblooded Pod. Ryan, thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you for having me. We talked about it before, I have to kind of right my wrongs or fake wrongs with BBN because they think I'm a hater, but I'm here to show some love.
They think a lot of people are haters. We'll prove them wrong today. By asking about your thoughts on Kentucky's first year under Mark Pope last season, made the Sweet 16, won a lot of big games. So I want to get your impressions on the job that Mark Pope has done so far at Kentucky.
Yeah, I think it's tough. The standard is obviously super high at Kentucky, and for anybody that was going to come in, even if it was the 8th choice, the first choice, whatever it was going to be, I don't think he had a standard of a new coach at a program. Absolutely not, because it almost felt like Sweet 16 was like a little bit of a disappointment at one time, even though I think it's a very good first year, obviously. He brought everything over that you expected to, X's nose wise, schematically from BYU. Some was great for that. Some of it kind of, you need to tweak and change over time, and some of it's just personnel stuff. But I think it was a great first year, honestly. And I'm a buyer in stock of his long-term for sure. And I think he's an amazing players coach. Guys love him. And obviously he knows how to work with his resources right now. So I think it's all positive. It's a good stepping stone. I understand why Kentucky is like, no, we need to win a national championship. The rest of the SEC is doing that at the top of it. So we need to do that also.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that Kentucky fans would have been 100% happy if two other things would have happened. They would have beaten Arkansas, and they wouldn't have lost to an SEC rival in the Sweet 16. But besides that, I think it was an A-plus season for Mark Pope and the staff. But now the expectations are a lot higher heading into this season. They had a big offseason, bringing in one of the nation's best transfer portal classes. So what are your expectations for Kentucky for next season, and what do you think about this team coming in?
Yeah, I think they did a great job at filling the gaps that they had last year in the holes. A lot of it is defensively. I think everybody knows that. It's pretty easy to say. They obviously have crazy resources and financial money, just money to spend and go get guys. And they definitely did a good job at that in the portal. The portal class is unbelievable. I think I put it at number 4, but you could argue it should be number 1 or 2 with the depth and the quality that they brought in. And also looking at, again, what they filled in. I think Jaden Quains is going to be awesome, fully healthy. Let's assume that. I think he's got a layer to his game that people don't really recognize. But when you look at guys like him, Mo Diabate, even Cam Williams, Denzel Aberdeen, like they're filling in the defensive holes that were there last year. Now, I don't know if Pope is going to change his system defensively at all, because I think a lot of it is in that because they didn't have the awful defenders all around last year. But I think that even if you just let your defensive playmakers kind of go make plays down the stretch of games, you got guys that are able to do that now. Who's going to be on the court? That's another question because there's like 12 guys that you could play. So that's another one to answer, but especially in crunch time at the end of games. But I think the standard for this team is Final Four national championship and nothing less. They're for sure going to be a top 10 team. I don't see in a world how they fall out of the top 10 at all this season. Like, sure, maybe the AP poll is kind of ridiculous. So like maybe they fall to like 15 or 16 after a really loaded SEC week or something like that. But realistically, they should be the quality of a top 10 team, if not top 5 all season long. And Mark Pope, he took a hard job, but he took a great job. So that's the expectation.
You mentioned Jaden Quains. I think he's kind of one of the bigger wild cards for this team, given his injury. But when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in the country, a projected top 5, top 10 pick. What are your expectations for a guy like that?
I don't know. I want to say a lot. It's tough because like Garrison's obviously going to start. They're probably going to put Diabate at the 4 and mix JQ in. And I just feel like at some point, if he's full strength, there's no way you don't start him or play him 20 to 25 plus minutes a game. He's an unbelievable shot blocker. He's strong. He's super young. You've seen a little bit of touch from him and a little bit of midi work and stuff like that. And I think there's just layers to his game that if he gets a full season under his belt, he's going to be able to showcase a lot. I just don't know because I don't know how much I can guarantee he's going to play. That's my one concern for him in the rotation and stuff. But he's going to be awesome. He should be the team's best defender. So.
One last guy I want to ask you about, Jalen Lowe. It feels like there's been a lot of talk about him this offseason. What do you know about his game? What are you excited to see from him?
He's good, man. Anytime you can go get a lead one guard on your team in the portal, I think that's a big W, and that's rare. He was great at Pitt. He was getting a lot of draft hype throughout the year, especially earlier on. I like him. I think he's really good, especially when like Pitt, it was tough. They had a few good players on the team, but it wasn't as simple as it will be at Kentucky. You're playing next to Otego away, coming back after last year. Like it's going to be easy for you. You're going to have space. You're going to have space to play, and even with the other guards, Denzel, Cam, and everybody, but. He's good. He's crafty. He can shoot. He can get to it. He's quick. I like his game, especially offensively, for sure.
Well, Ryan, thanks for coming on today. Everyone, be sure to go and follow Ryan on Twitter at RyanHammer09. I was telling him before this show, I was just scrolling through Instagram Reels and saw him popping up and was like, let's get him on this show because he's everywhere now. I feel like I'm seeing your face all over college basketball, Twitter, Instagram, all of that. So thanks for coming on today.
Of course, I'm doing my best. I appreciate the love. I appreciate you having me on first time. So I appreciate it a ton, man.
Before we finish up today, I want to give some more intel that I've been hearing. Last week when we talked, Baba Oladotun had just reclassified into 2026. Not a whole lot of more news there, but Kentucky's been active on the recruiting trail, setting official visits with guys like Ethan Taylor, Maximo Adams, and getting a new date for Duran Rippey. So you can find those over on KSR Plus. A few other intel notes that I want to drop that I put on KSR Plus. Be sure to go and subscribe to KSR Plus if you want this information earlier than people watching the show. Bruce Branch, number one player in the Rivals 2027 rankings, a player that Kentucky's been in contact with. There's been some talk about a reclassification with him. Nothing's confirmed yet, but there are schools that are recruiting him heavily as a 2026 prospect. Kentucky's been in contact basically every day is what he told KSR's Zach Yagan. And he is a couple months older than Baba, who just made that reclassification move. So the potential is there, and that's one to watch. International recruiting, I'm hearing that Kentucky is very active in recruiting international players. Obviously, you got Yelovich coming over for this season, and they've been in contact with guys like Luigi Swigo, an Italian center, 7'3", and they hosted Seon Kita for an official visit in late July. So I'm expecting more international players to pop up as we enter the fall and as we get later in the year towards the spring. And then another player, Caden Samuels. He's a player we've talked about before. He's one of the few players with an offer from Kentucky that hasn't set an official visit yet. It's been quiet, but I was talking to sources close to him, and they say they still are planning to take a visit to Kentucky. So he's one to watch. Other schools involved, I'm hearing Alabama, UConn, Georgetown, and then NC State. Those are some of the schools involved. And then Tyron Stokes, there's not a whole lot new to report on his recruitment, but I feel like if we're a Kentucky basketball recruiting show, we have to mention him because he's the guy that everyone's wondering about, number one player in the country. I'm still hearing that UK is well-positioned in Stokes' recruitment, but things are far from over. He's still got visits to USC, Oregon, and Gonzaga. So we're watching for those visits and seeing if he's still going to make a decision before the start of the season, like his mother told KSR Plus at Peach Jam. Lots of movement over on the recruiting trail. Be sure to go and subscribe to KSR Plus. We're going to have it all covered with hour-by-hour updates on everything going on. My final thought today, official visits. They're coming up. There haven't been any planned for August just yet, so there's still a little bit of time. I expect these next couple of weeks to be the final guys that they plan on getting on campus for official visits before they maybe readjust in the spring. But these are their targets for the early signing period in November, and they're going all in right now. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to go and subscribe to KSR Plus. Subscribe to the KSR YouTube channel.